What is happening, team? Check this out. Got a whiteboard here today because I feel like I might need it to help me explain what I'm going to try and get across to you. At the moment, well, the last sort of 6 months, I'd say, there's been like a lot of talk around, is the ecological approach, are we doing constraints-led learning, or are we just drilling pointless techniques or whatever? I don't really want to get into that debate. I don't think it's helpful. What I want to talk about is what I do think is helpful. And it doesn't so much mean you have to ascribe to a certain way of, I think that the ecological approach is the best, or I think, positional sparring is the best, or whatever. Because to be honest, if you don't really know, and you're just kind of like watching some videos and you go, I think that's the best, and then you just ascribe to that idea, that's kind of like basically going along with a cult or religion. You're kind of just giving your, I believe in XYZ coach, they're the best. What I want to get across in this video today is the idea of, when I first thought of it years ago, I called it the tradesman's approach. But basically what I'm meaning is have a bit of a think about, when you're in school and some other sports that you've done, or even Jiu Jitsu, things that have really clicked. What actually made those things click and start to work in your brain? Actually take ownership. How do I learn? What makes things stay in my mind? And then how can I bring that into a Jiu Jitsu class so that I can have new techniques or new moves or new concepts be a part of my game? So just for a quick overview, there's two big schools. So the one big school of thinking is we learn techniques. So we go in, we do whatever, maybe a warm up, maybe not. And then the instructor shows us a series of techniques, and hopefully those techniques tie into each other, and hopefully again, we can tie them into our game. Maybe we do one or two positional rounds, say it was like a side control move or something like that. One person's trying to escape side control, the other person's trying to do the move, or whatever it is. And then we have a couple of open rounds. The other way would be like the ecological approach, or the constraints-led approach. And that would be as the coach basically gets people in, and now the whole thing would be, okay, let's play games, but put a lot of constraints in. So, one person maybe trying to make a grip, the other person's trying to break a grip, kind of thing. And then, you have a go at me, I have a go on you, and then we progress the game. So we might play a grip game, a standing game, a takedown game, a guard passing game, and you work it in that way. That's another great way of learning as well. But what I'm saying is I don't want to get into a discussion of what's best and what's not. The big thing I want to give across to you today is have the tradesman's approach. So actually take on learning as in your own journey. Take on your learning as, okay, this is for me. I'm learning this sport for my reasons, for me. And when I go in, I want to take away what's going to be most applicable for me. So give yourself that attitude, number one, but then how are we going to work with that? That's why I got the trusty little whiteboard here. It's sort of a little bit tricky for me to explain, but I sort of said this to a couple of people last week, and it seemed to make a lot of sense. So we're passing guard here. This is our person's head. This is their body. Here's their two legs. These are their knees there, and these are their feet. And then you can see I'm a great drawer, but you get the idea. So if you're very kind of move, I'm learning a move, all right, I've learned a knee cut slice. So you're standing out here behind the range of, that light's in a bit of a terrible position there, isn't it? There we go. We're standing here somewhere, and we go knee cut pass. So you kind of, if you've just got a move that's been taught to you by your coach, or you've looked something up on YouTube or whatever, and you're like, okay, I've got to get my hands here, create a bit of an angle, and then boom, in I go, and maybe I get there and maybe I don't. And then let's say we get it, okay, we get the side control. Man, knee cut passes really work. And you come along to the next person, and as soon as they start to go, they have their forearm under your knee, and they frame on your head, on your shoulder, or whatever it is, and then they stuff it up. So you come in here and you try your knee cut, they kind of fail it. So then you take a big step out and you kind of circle around and you end up back here. That can be quite tricky, you know what I mean? And then, so if you're just trying to force a move in, or if you're trying to, or if you've got some idea from different things, you can go, oh, that can be hard. So whether you're ascribing to a certain way of thinking, or maybe your gym only does one sort of a way, the way I would like you to, and this works just as good if you're, because I'm using the whole body to explain this, but you could be using it as to finish an armbar, or you could be using it to adjust your position on the back. But it's just a bit hard for me to quickly draw this up, and you can see by my drawing it's not so great. What I would prefer you to do, rather than go, oh, we're going to try and hit a side smash, or we're going to try and hit a knee slide or whatever, I would like you to look at your training partner and go, okay, let me just kind of break this down and go, it's what would actually equate to being a pass. When we've freed the leg and we've got chest to chest, so we've got chest to back. Sometimes in chest to chest and chest to back, we can still have, a leg entangled, and we've just still got to clear that. But as a great goal, we would like to get our chest down to their chest, cross face underhook, or some sort of configuration where we can maintain that position, work our leg free, and now we've got to like a side control or a mount position, maybe even a back. That's where we're wanting to get to. So on the way, if we look at our training partner like a ladder, mostly while we're learning, as you get better, you just kind of throw that into your subconscious and it works. But while we're learning, try to play little games where, okay, I can grip fight for a little bit here. So I would lower my head, if they were sitting up, I would lower my head down and I'd start to play with the hands. Maybe they sit back down to where they are. Okay, here's my ladder. I've got to get past the feet first. Once, so maybe you're just flanking to the side and like coming to a shin on shin kind of a position, just to get past the feet. So maybe try that a few times. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm clearing the feet. So now you might start to go, okay, can I push the shin down and look to start to getting past the knee. So now we can start to get past the knee. So then we're breaking it down into like a little bit of a ladder. And then we can gain control of the hips. Once you start to gain control of the hips, your guard pass is a lot more there. But even if you just want to break it down into like 3, but you can obviously break it down into a lot more. There can be a lot more stages in there, and then the frames and all that sort of stuff. But like I said, Tradesman's approach, break that down into areas that's working for you or not working for you, that you can make that work better. Now, the reason that I was saying we're going to break this down into like a ladder sort of a thing is because let's say, okay, we get past the feet, we come back, we get past the feet, we come back, okay, we feel like we've got that, we get past the knees, we come back out, we get past. What I'm wanting you to do is, say the next time we come in, okay, I've got past the feet, and then try to change your angle, try to change your side so that you can maintain staying past the feet. So you might even start to like look at some high stepping kind of moves and that kind of deal. That's fairly easy, and you shouldn't have any dramas with that. Once we start to gain access to the hips or start to get past the knees, like maybe even force some sort of like half guard positions, that kind of thing, I would like you to try and go, okay, I've got in so far, or maybe I've got to control of the hips, but he's brought his frames in. So maybe I have to retract, but I don't want you to go like in that knee cut example before, oh, we had a crack, we got so far, they're doing a really good job at defending. I have to go back and reset and try again. I would like, let's say we're on the hips here, we've got like a good tight waist or something like that, and they start to put some good pressure and good frames. Maybe we're just going to drop back to the knee. So maybe we're back into like a half guard position or something like that. Or maybe we drop back and they start to circle a leg over the top, and we can start to put them into like a double unders pass or some sort of variation like that. So we're admitting, okay, in our own head, we just want to be aware, okay, we thought we got to here, but they're doing too good with their frame. So we can't just progress on up. Let's just back half a move and then see if we can change our angle or change our approach. And then that way we're actually learning the why of why a pass works, rather than, okay, I've got my collection of six different passes that I work, and then we go to a new gym or a new person starts and they've got a bit of experience, then we try to pass their guard or whatever move we're trying to do is, and then they counter it. We're like, yeah, but I don't have an answer for that counter. If we're taking on that approach of, okay, where am I trying to get to achieve whatever it is, a pass or a submission or a takedown. If we can like break it all down and we can start to figure out why the moves are working for us, then it doesn't really matter so much whether your gym is gi only, no gi only, ecological, whatever their methodology is. You can go in, okay, today I'm working on back takes using like the arms, so we're going to be looking at like chair sits, that sort of thing. You're just going to try and force yourself into that position. I will say one caveat, you might be thinking, oh, you know, I've only just started, I started last week. Every time, the few times I went into the gym, maybe people let me have a bit of a work, but then as soon as I started to get anywhere, they just put me on the bottom and pinned me. Oh, good, you're probably pinned on the bottom of a mat, weren't you? One of the most important things you're going to have to learn how to escape is mountainside control, back of course, before you even get to being submitted. So you probably start where this guy is. Okay, then you can even like break it all the way back down. Oh, my arms are out here, he's got chest on chest, what do I need to do? And you can start working, oh, what about if I bring a frame in here? What about if I do this? What about if I swing my legs? What about if I bridge into them? And you can start giving yourself little metrics and ways that you're gonna think about each different position. Then you'll actually start to understand why it works. So then as you get better and better and you come up against harder and harder competition, you'll actually know the whats and whys of when you're trying to achieve things or trying to avoid things. It's just going to makes it a lot more fun, gets your brain involved a lot more so that you never get these stalemate kind of a roles. So especially if you've been training for a little bit and you've got a partner that you always tend to play the same game with, I can guarantee you that you're not taking the tradesman's approach and you're not really thinking about it. You just try to hit them with your A game, they try to hit you with their A game, and you end up in this stalemate. So if we're going to take on the tradesman's approach, where we take ownership of our own learning and we try to understand the little things of what we're trying to do, you're going to maximize the time that you spend on the mats, but you're also going to be able to, any time that you're like, say, watching a video like this or some other DVD that you might have bought, you're really going to maximize your learning off the mats as well. So it's just going to cut down that progression. So if you're thinking, okay, black belt 10 years, we're looking at cutting years off because we're being smart, being cerebral about what we're trying to do. So hope that helps. Let me know. I'd like to know more, your thoughts. Drop them in the comments below. See you next week.